Atheists, what do you believe in? Serious. My wife's 3 rules of life. Stay safe, have fun, don't be a dick. Myself. I've always been there for me. You're born. You live. You die. That's it. After you die, you cease to exist. The same as before you were born. I believe in a universe that doesn't care, and people that do. Nothing. Serious. Realistically, I think nothing happens. We literally experience nothing after death. Same thing that we experience before birth. We don't exist. So it's nothing. I think the tenet that we should follow while living is to try to be happy and healthy while minimizing the damage we do to each other. What I would like to happen after death is whatever you believe in exists. I think Christians should get to go to heaven if they truly believe in it. Hindus and Buddhists get reincarnated. And everyone else also gets to experience what they believe they will experience. I would still experience nothing. Maybe it's one of those things where at the moment of death their brain makes them experience what feels like an infinitely long moment in time where they experience their afterlife. I just think it would be neat for everybody. Atheism generally isn't a belief in the usual sense of the word. It's a lack of belief in a deity. You don't need reasons for not believing in something. You need reasons for believing. Not believing is the default position. There is no plan. No grand design. There is what happens and how we respond to it. Justice only exists to the extent we create it. We can't count on supernatural justice to balance the scales in the afterlife. So we need to do the best we can to make it work out in the here and now. My life and the life of every other human being is something that was extremely unlikely. That makes it rare, precious, and worth preserving. Nothing outside of us assigns meaning to our lives. We have to create meaning for our lives ourselves. When I was young, I used to think that after death you would have access to a PC that you could see absolutely anything about your life. Stats. Any question you had, no matter how obscure. Replays of moments. Perspectives of others in relation to you. No matter what you wanted to know. If it was relatable to you, you could see it. I know it's silly, but as time goes on I just want it to be real. And I don't think I'd have any issue allowing myself to fall into that delusion. Edit. Why did pretty much all the replies to my comment get removed? Humanity. Despite its very obvious and apparent flaws, I believe we have it in us to excel and be better. Science. How dope nature is. There is nothing in this world preventing me from doing unspeakable things. Laws are just words. They have no meaning and only apply if you get caught. The law, in a sense, does not exist. There is no existential threat preventing me from doing anything. I follow the rule of law. Fight for equal rights as much as I am able and treat people in a manner in which I would like to be treated because I choose to. I choose to be, if not a good person, then a compassionate person because I choose to be. I believe in me. I'm interpreting this question as just polling people who don't believe in a God as to what they do believe, not restricted to, what do you believe about God and religion? Quote. So I would say, I believe that my perception provides useful information to help me tailor my experience in life. I believe that very few concepts in life fall into strict dichotomies of this or that, but that most things are a spectrum. Shades of gray. I believe that joy and suffering exist, and that maximizing joy and minimizing suffering is a good thing for both my experience in life and other beings' experiences. Science, research, evidence, that sort of thing. Also, the golden rule. Be excellent to each other. Not being a piece of shit. I feel religion is a morality guide for the most part, and some people need that guide. I'm comfortable in doing my best to be a good person for the sake of being a good person. I don't need afterlife bribery.
Evidence.
What do I believe? I believe a lot of things. Atheism has nothing to do with what I believe. Atheism has to do with a very specific thing I don't believe in. And that's a lack of belief in a God, or other, supernatural religious being. Answering your question though is a bit difficult. What I believe. A belief is just something that one accepts as true. I believe the sky is blue. I believe water is wet. I believe arsenic is a poison. Are you asking rather what I believe in place of a God? And that's the thing. I don't believe in a replacement for a God. Since that replacement would just themselves be a God. I don't believe in that. Or are you asking what I believe in as the answer to all the question God answers? To which I'd argue, God doesn't really answer many questions. That is, unless you willfully ignore all of the scientific, historic answers to those same questions. The only questions God answers that we don't have answers to are things like, what is the meaning of life? Quote. But that's not really a practical question in my opinion. Does it change anything to have an answer to that outside of removing that sense of existential dread that comes with not knowing? But I'd argue even though you believe in whatever meaning you've come up with doesn't mean it's true. That existential lack of knowing still exists. You just chose to ignore it by pointing at an imaginary factoid and saying, this makes me feel better about it. Like hiding under your banky so as not to look at the empty void under your bed. Here's the problem with questions like, what is the meaning of life? The real answer, even if it's comprehensible by our tiny monkey brains, is probably so damn mundane it'd be depressing to hear it. What if it turned out the meaning of life was to shit? Just piles of shit everywhere. All of evolution, all of creation, all of the universe was a system designed to make the most efficient shitting machine. And worst, that we weren't even the best model of the shit-making machine. We're the mistake model that just won't die. What do I believe? A lot of things. I just don't believe in that one thing religious, spiritual people do believe in. Just like I also don't believe in the Illuminati. I'm both an atheist and an illuminationist. That we're a communal and altruistic species. That we thrive when we come together. And that helping others is the best way to a happier life for yourself.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.